Aliens vs. Predator, the 2000 release. This is often called the 2000 release because it was released close to the new millennium. It was actually released in 1999. And the difference between this one and the one key difference between, well, there's several differences between this one and the 2010 one. First off, the graphics were more or less for the age it was. Pardon that yawn. But it was designed in 3 unlinked campaigns, much similar to the prior attempt on the Atari Jaguar. And of course, they were limited in what they could do, graphics wise, and that. However, for each of the campaigns also had bonus missions in them, but the main missions pretty much worked as a, separate, unique storyline for each. We start with the Marines campaign. At least that's how I started it. And this is set on the colony. And our Marine was sort of woken up from a nightmare by an alarm, which basically states that xenomorphs in a lab have broken out. Not good. So, of course, you must meet with the group, somehow get to where the group is, survive the invasion, blast these buggers to hell, and get the hell out of there. Where you will get onto a jump ship which will make its way to a station, which unfortunately comes under predator attack. Because there is more experimentation on aliens there. In fact, we have our first encounter with an alien cyborg on this station. Of course, you will get to another ship that's docked at this station, where it has a full-blown infestation. And you are eventually going to make your way through this infested alien ship, blasting everything. You will encounter a predator on this ship. You will encounter Praelians, or Praetorians, I should call them. And everything, because a queen is on this one. And then you have to literally fight your way, or fight the queen in a way you cannot, you don't have weapons that can damage this thing. Not in Survive. And as you run around and shoot these things, or try and avoid her, you have to basically free a pathway so you can avoid blows. You can open an airlock, cycle it so it can open and suck the damn thing out, and also get into a pressurized area that will be safe. And I'll admit, I had a walkthrough and I was playing it on the easiest setting and I still had a hard time getting that one done. But eventually I did, and shot her out into space. And eventually he blew her out the airlock. I mean, can't we do anything better or more destructive to these things than blow them out of an airlock? Well, we only did that in the 2010 version, to be honest. Well, and that covers the Marine campaign. This is more a run and gun game because there's very little interaction with people. I mean, you do have your commander and other characters that will show up on a view screen in all the missions. But you will never physically encounter a separate individual. Then we have the Alien campaign. And you start in a, quote, temple, which has been brought aboard a ship. You discover that one out. And that the humans are harvesting eggs from the hive. So you must, of course, find the nest, because you've been sort of hiding out in a separate area. Find the main nest. Then make sure you stay with the eggs when they get shipped off. Meanwhile, fighting and capturing and killing humans and doing all that. And eventually what you end up doing is you get aboard their ship, infest the ship, take over the ship. And it's the ship making its way to Earth. Of course, you run into mostly Marines and civilians, but there will be Predator encounters too. So you have to beat both Predators in the final level of the Alien campaign to eventually join with the eggs that are heading to Earth so you can show them what to do. Yeah, it's not speaking good for us, but then again, Weyland Yutani always considers profit over caution. Such idiots. And I mean, this is in part puzzle solving. There's a good amount of puzzle solving with the Alien campaign, because you're going to have to destroy certain things. The alien can only regain health at the start of a level or by consuming victims. And you have to be smart, because you got to outwit automatic guns and avoid them. And you really don't have much in weaponry with the alien. Yes, you can climb the walls, which actually in this version is a lot more difficult, in my opinion. But it can be done. And once you get to the end of the level, now the end of the mission, it's a bit satisfying. But it's pretty simplistic. It's not as involved, I think, as the 2010. And of course, they are limited to what they can do. I don't think I did any headshot. Well, maybe I did one or two headshots, but I never did anything like capture and harvest. And that's again because this is more of a run and gun game. And then we have the Predators campaign. And the Predators campaign is a lot different. Now, in part, it starts with you as the Predator going to infiltrate a Weyland Yutani site. It's unclear if this is on Earth or not, on our planet, because there are some aliens in labs. But for the most part, you are working through this site to, one, find your ship. or find your fellow predator's ship, because they have apparently captured a fellow predator. You start out with minimal weaponry, so you really do have to use your wits and all that. And by the time you get to your ship, you get a full loadout of weaponry. You get the damn discs, and they have a spear gun or the spear. I like the spear in the later one, but you get limited shots with it. Something that don't refill. You have a medical ability which you can then use and recharge your health, but you need more energy. You can cloak, run around cloaked if you want. Of course, once you get down to the core of the Weyland-Yutani Center, you of course find they've made the captured predator into some sort of abomination. So you're going to have to kill it, and then get the hell out of there and get on your ship before the whole place goes kerblooey. And once that's done, you are off to Fury 161, where there is another facility. So apparently they got rid of the prisoners there and any prisoners that were left there and turned it into an alien harvesting facility or something. I wonder how the people there dealt with the lice issue that was on that planet. And anyhow, the Predator must infiltrate this base, which has some more of those Xenoborgs. Work through all the weaponry and all that, because there is a productive hive there. And once, of course, then by the time you get through the main facility and get to the hive, you have a one-on-one battle with a queen. Which, I will admit, I expected that one to take a lot longer than the other one that I had. Or at least longer than I did. Because I got through that battle in like a couple minutes. Of course, the Predator's more equipped to deal with the queen on a one-on-one battle. And of course, the Predator wipes out the queen, roars in triumph of his victory, and then wipes out a facehugger that tries to sneak up on him. Yay. And that pretty much sums up all the missions. Like I said, this game was more run and gun and try and think things through as you're running and gunning. Now, it did have a limitation in it. I mean, this is a game where you don't have checkpoints in this game. And you only have 7 save slots for each level, which means you have to choose sparingly when you want to use the saves. Even if you overwrite a save slot, it's considered one save. So I don't know if like doing it on a harder setting limits you to less save slots or not. But for people, I mean, yeah, you used to have limited save slots in other games. You still do in some games. But you're also allowed to overwrite saves, which makes sense. So what they did with this was you've got this many saves. And once you use them all, you can't save again. So this sort of eliminates the making slow progress type thing. I wasn't even sure how to save when I first started the game. But it's also good that it resets the save states at each level. Of course, if you make a mistake with one save and then save again after that, and then you have to restart anyhow. And it's possible to make mistakes in this game. If you look at it, I did that on my first time tackling the queen as the marine. I did a few times. So it was much easier than for that to be just restart. Now, of course, this also had bonus missions which you could access under certain conditions, like completing the main campaign for the characters. I wasn't going to go into them because that's just it. They're just they're not even part of a story campaign. And I think that I don't know. I don't think this was set up for multiplayer, but we're talking early days when the internet was young, and the usual way to do a multiplayer game was what they called a LAN party. So it was a decent game. It was very good for its day because of the limitations that were at the time. Graphically, it was better than some Alien games at the time and that came before it. It really doesn't hold up a candle to the later entries, well, the later games. It's hard to hold up a candle to the 2010 release. Of course, I could run it on my older computer too, so that's another thing to it. But that's all I'm going to say about Aliens, Alien vs. Predator 2000. Like I said, it was a good game. Would I come back to it? Maybe, maybe not. It's not really an achievement-heavy game because achievements at that time were not a thing. Still, it was fun to play. And I thank you for listening to all this, if you still are. I hope you still are. And I please invite you to subscribe to the channel and check everything out that's on the channel. I have videos that go up daily at 3 p.m. I have videos that go up certain days weekly at 10 a.m. So please check everything out, subscribe, I greatly appreciate it. And until next time, this is Rich Gale here on YouTube, Rich Gen X elsewhere. Bye!